We got a very, very special breakdown today. I've had a lot of requests for this one. So we're going to dive back into what you were saying is one of the greatest Drake disses of all time. This is from one of the Joe Budden series. I'm excited to dive into this and to put it under the microscope. So right here, right now, it's none other than Wake.
My check. 1, 2, 1, 2. New Joe Budden.
Good afternoon to everyone. I'm Kenny Powers.
Kenny!
And if you're here, then you're someone Shane cared about, someone Shane loved. Or maybe you're just somebody who has no business being here at all, who's just here because you think it's going to make you more popular. You know, Shane and I used to fuck around big time. We'd fucking party hard. We'd ride our vehicles around, slay ass.
My condolences,
What a eulogy. Shout out to Danny McBride playing Kenny Powers on Eastbound and Down. But see, I love layers to a good diss track, and already Budden is coming with the layers. First and foremost, look at the album cover to this. Wake. Look at Bautista, Jose Bautista just getting clocked by Odor. Famous fight and photo right there, right? Now that's important because let's go back to the Meek Mill's diss. Remember when Drake went back to back? What did he use as his album cover? Obviously, shout out Toronto and the Blue Jays and them going back to back and them winning the World Series and that home run hit in celebration. That was his cover, right? So Joe taking those details, starts trolling Drake for that. Then it goes deeper because Wake, there's a funeral. But the key is the movie clip, right? Because nobody wants Kenny Powers' character there because that is not a eulogy that the family wants to hear. You want to hear how amazing he was, not that you ran around and fuck shit up the whole time, right? So Joe, having a history, having a past friendship with Drake, is now going to say things at Drake's funeral that shouldn't be said, much in the same way that Kenny Powers said things at the eulogy. And we're going to remember Drake not in the way that he should be remembered. Layers to it. I already love the production, how this opens.
Shane and I used to fuck around big time. We'd fucking party hard. We'd ride our vehicles around, slay ass.
my condolences. Whole family in mourning, send my condolences. My condolences, crazy, I just spoke to him. Courtney dropping drinks on her, who does she lose her focus? Shit, don't send a text, I don't care, y'all mad. Shit, I waited 5 days, nigga, where y'all at? For real, I'm calling stunner. Cause all summer 16, ain't heard a hot 16 by all summer. Awareness is high, say attention I'm seeking. Since I'm reaching this offensive, they're convinced I'm a demon. Such a thin disagreement, some akin for a reason. Killing you is expected of me, I don't win an achievement. Somebody pinch me, I'm dreaming. Take this mental reprievement. Since I know the nigga, I know this ain't the man that I'm seeing. I heard it straight from the Bama's mouth. He won't pull a hammer out. Wasn't you at Hope Show scared to pull a camera out? I'm seeing habits switch, magic tricks. You froggy behind the apple.
Who says Joe can't rap? There's a reason Joe was a member of Slaughterhouse. Man's going in.
Fix the passiveness in your man, I might react to it. Automatic shit, ratchet kids at your crib, they can't even spell Calabasas, bitch. So I take all the guns, load half the clips. I just noticed you run, we mentioned half the clips. I'll say that for another time.
Oh, we pushing T's.
I get back to it. I'm kinda shocked to look at what we've advanced to. Knew it get you dismantled. Knew the issues I ran through, sick of the scandal. Or maybe I just misunderstand you. I kept it a buck, thought that was shit you could handle. You said you wondered if anything you was doing was brand new, right? I got him, no one help, father.
So many layers to it, and the thing is, he's mixing a lot. He's mixing history, because obviously he knows Drake. He's mixing in different track names, different discographies. He's having double entendres to flip it on Drake to come back at him. Let's bring it back and just break down some of this.
My condolences. Whole family in mourning, send my condolences. My condolences, crazy.
Obviously, whole family in mourning because the track title is Wake. So again, this is the eulogy right here. I love sort of like the choir orchestral chanting in the background, right? It's eerie, but it's church-like at the same time, still tying in with the Wake.
Just spoke to him. Courtney dropping drinks on her, who does she lose her focus? Shit, don't send a text.
Remember when Drake talks about what from Losing Time with Courtney from Hooters? And laments that, Courtney from Peachtree. So what's Joe doing? He's already flipping some of Drake's lyrics right here. Courtney's dropping her drinks. Once she hears this, because it's over. It's game over. It's RIP, right?
I just spoke to him. Courtney dropping drinks on her, who does she lose her focus? Shit, don't send.
But again, for Joe, it goes deeper. And we'll get into that depth later. But it's not like Joe is going after or like shouting out someone serious that Drake's with. Because again, We just talked about this in a recent Drake breakdown. It feels like Drake always stays in this same cycle where he goes after like Hooters chicks and strippers and very shallow values. And that's sort of his system and the women that he pines over and searches for and likes to rap about.
Crazy, I just spoke to him. Courtney dropping drinks on her hooter, she losing focus. Shit, don't send a text, I don't care, y'all mad. Shit, I waited 5 days, nigga, where y'all at? For real.
I waited 4 days. Where y'all at? Drove through in the whip playing AR app. Come on. That's the Meek Mills diss and back-to-back that we broke down when Drake was like, I dropped, didn't hear from Meek, and then I dropped again. What's Joe doing right here? He's going back-to-back because this is the second diss that he's dropping. He first dropped Making a Murderer, right? Now he's dropping this one. He waited 4 days. Actually, waited 1 more day. That was key. He didn't just wait 4. He waited an extra 1. And then he's going to flip Drake's lines on him because all of a sudden Drake has time for Meek with that energy. But where's this energy for Joe? And it goes even deeper because, again, they know each other.
I don't care, y'all mad. Shit, I waited 5 days, nigga, where y'all at? For real, I'm calling Stunner. Cause all summer 16 ain't heard a hot 16 by all summer.
All summer, I ain't heard a hot 16. I love how he flips it, right? Because Drake had summer 16. And that's going to tie in a little bit when he compares himself to Jay, and Joe has the Jay-Z flips from summer 16. But also 16 bars. The whole summer, you've been dropping bars, and I've not heard any hot 16s from you. So he's flipping that. And then he's calling Stunner, right? Because think about it. Cash Money Records, who's Drake's boss at the time? Stunner, right? We gotta get him to drop. Man's tied up. He can't move unless his bosses tell him to move. This is Joe flexing his independence. Again, there's layers and levels to the disses and how he wants to get under Drake's skin in different ways.
Stunner, cause all summer 16 ain't heard a hot 16 by all summer. Awareness is high. Say attention, I'm seeking. Since I'm reaching, it's offensive. They're convinced I'm a demon. Such a thin disagreement. Some akin for a reason. Killing you is expected of me. I don't win an achievement. Somebody pinch me.
Killing you is expected. I don't win an achievement. Because we all know that I'm the better lyricist, right? That, again, is another level of flex. You know, this isn't something that's going to surprise people. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what happens when you bring me into the booth. But it started with a thin disagreement. And Joe went on his podcast at the time. And for Joe, one of the big sort of button pushes was 4 p.m. in Calabasas. And Joe tried to go through some of the lines and break down the bars and explain how he felt like they were meant for Puff. They were meant in other ways. And then he also pointed out the lines that he felt were meant for him. And then you also have Drake going on his Instagram stories, teasing a snippet with French Montana, shout out to the Madden soundtrack, Joe Budden, right? Pump it up. So shouting out, pump it up, and just looking like he's trolling Budden. Academics at the time, DJ Diddy Demics, making little tweets, stirring the pot again, saying that Drake's got something that's going to end Budden's career. And there were rumors at the time and speculations that Drake had a diss track, but it never got dropped, never got released. Now, whether Stunner stopped it and the bosses stopped it, but also, isn't it funny, the parallels that you see as we talk about the Kendrick and Drake beef today and how Kendrick was trolling Drake, you know, Lucy and who controls Drake and what Drake can drop and what he can do. Is Drake ever fully in control and fully empowered during his career?
16 ain't heard a hot 16 by all summer. Awareness is high. Say attention, I'm seeking. Since I'm reaching, it's offensive. They're convinced I'm a demon.
And people were saying at the time, the only reason Budden's dropping this is because he wants attention. He's got his own album that he wants to promote and his own music he wants to push.
In disagreement, some akin for a reason. Killing you is expected of me. I don't win an achievement.
I don't win an achievement. I just love these little moments when he gets just like a little bit gruff, more New York and aggressive with the delivery. But son, my kin, he's sonning Drake right now.
Some akin for a reason. Killing you is expected of me. I don't win an achievement. Somebody pinch me, I'm dreaming. Take this mental reprievement. Since I know the nigga, I know this ain't the man, and I'm saying I heard it.
Take those dues later, right? Past the date. Mental reprievement in this sense. He's giving it back to him. He's flipping it, breaking him down.
Take this mental reprievement. Since I know the nigga, I know this ain't the man, and I'm saying I heard it straight from the Bama's mouth. He won't put.
Since I know him, this ain't the man. He's saying what? Drake has changed up. Drake is not the same as when he came into the game. He switched. And you've heard a lot of this through the years of people saying this. Like a lot of Budden's blueprint and critiques. I think Clips took that on board. And Pusha T, obviously, story of Adidon. But especially in the Kendrick beef, the more that we get through and break this down, the more you start to see the breadcrumbs and just this history of Drake. And it's not like Kendrick pulled out these allegations out of nowhere. It's not like Kendrick pulled these angles out of nowhere. These are angles and perspectives and critiques of Drake that have been bubbling and boiling over for years.
Know the nigga, I know this ain't the man that I'm saying. I heard it straight from the Bama's mouth. He won't pull a hammer out.
Hey, being from DC, come on, straight from the Bama's mouth. Hey, come on, you got it. It's DMV, baby. You gotta use that East Coast slang.
Know this ain't the man that I'm saying. I heard it straight from the Bama's mouth. He won't pull a hammer out. Wasn't you at Hope Show scared to pull a camera out? I'm seeing
Drake said in an interview, like, he didn't want to look dumb, right? He was a fan of Jay-Z. He was at a Jay-Z show. He didn't want to pull his phone out because nobody else was pulling their phone out and look like a fan. And then obviously years later, he's dropping subliminal disses on Jay-Z because we know Drake loves his indirects. And then even on Summer 16, he's saying that he is now Jay-Z and he is the next Hove.
He won't pull a hammer out. Wasn't you at Hope Show scared to pull a camera out? I'm seeing habit switch, magic tricks. You froggy behind an apple fix. The passing.
I'm seeing habit switch. He won't pull the hammer out because all of a sudden you're talking more tough, right? You're talking like you're someone big. But I remember when you were starry-eyed just getting started in this game. Ain't it funny how things have fully switched up with you? I'm seeing a pattern here, but it's not lining up with your true character and how I know you are. See, you got lines that like hit for the listener, but also you just feel like this is really like a man-to-man conversation between Joe and Drake. And Joe is telling Drake those things that he doesn't want to hear. But he knows it's going to hit him. He knows it's going to get to him deep down.
I'm seeing habit switch, magic tricks. You froggy behind an apple fix. The passiveness in your man.
And you know, all the years that Drake has benefited from the system, one of those ways, he had a huge Apple deal at the time as well. Well, it was never made public, but yeah, he definitely got that Apple money.
Tricks, you froggy behind an apple fix. The passiveness in your man, I might react to it. Automatic shit, ratchet kids at your crib, they can't even spell Calabasas, bitch. So I
automatic shit, right? I'll do it automatically, but you're just passive in how you move. You're still that same kid that didn't want to pull his camera out at a Hove concert. So if you're not willing to pull your camera out and your phone out, why are you willing to pull hammers out? I'll tell you what, I'll send ratchet kids over to Calabasas. They can't even spell it. That's the side where I'm from. And speaking of Calabasas, your crib in Calabasas, but also this is Joe's way of just nodding, going, yeah, 4 p.m. in Calabasas. I know who that was meant for.
Automatic shit, ratchet kids at your crib, they can't even spell Calabasas, bitch. So I take all the guns, load half the clips. I just noticed you run, we mentioned half the clips. I'll say that for another time, I get back to it.
He does get back to it, but I love that, right? I don't even need to be fully loaded with my ammunition. I could just send half your way and I'm good. And it's just a clever word flip on half a clips. Why? Because who makes up half a clips? You got Malice, but also you got Pusha T. And Pusha T had one of the greatest diss tracks, in my opinion, of all time because it literally made Drake take care of his kid, right? I'm talking about Story of Adidon. But this actually dropped before Story of Adidon, but it was starting to bubble and boil over. And again, you talk about like Drake's history of switching up, being a fan of Jay, then turn around saying he's the next Jay and dissing Jay and disrespecting him in ways. Being a fan of Pusha T. There was even a story of Drake went on eBay, purchased a Pusha T autographed microphone. That's how big of a Clips fan he was. And now Joe's flipping that into this with the wordplay. It's clever.
You run, we mentioned half the clips. I say that for another time, I get back to it. I'm kind of shocked to look at what we've advanced to. Knew it get you dismantled. Knew the issues I ran through, sick of the scandal. Or maybe I just misunderstand you. I kept it a buck, thought that was shit you could handle. You said you wondered if anything you was doing was brand new, right? I got him, no one help. Father punch below the belt. Introspection means dig deep, let's look below the wealth. I wanna know myself. How you tell bitches know themselves when you don't even know yourself? You wouldn't know yourself. Canadian, maybe Asian, Croatian, be sounding like it's Jamaican friends, depend on what state he in. I think you rap good, but you a movie star, so that owl's appropriate. We don't know who you are. Where did the boy brain change? Was it the club scene? Now you sound like you use people and love things, but later for how you use people and love things, the entendres that upswing when I call you drunk king. That record contract leaves a lot to exam. Never dealt drugs in his life, but sold a lot of gram. That's too much baking soda.
Bars.
My break is over. They think it cause my paper lower, this for race to blow up. Well, maybe they just woke up. You leverage your celeb, taking waves over. That's territorial takeover. Maybe he think nobody notices. Gucci wasn't home 2 seconds before you wrote his dick. Body Versace flows, copy that he stole. Ay, Dios mío, sorry, amigos, adios, amigos.
Woo!
Was that your plot all along? Why you ain't do that vid with Fetty, but you hopped in a song? No, really, we want a party album, but you keep stealing all the party albums to go and put it on your party album. There's plenty reason to slay you. Kept going up Tuesdays, now the weekend just hates you. Are you like this? Sound like a zombie on a track. Never started from the bottom.
So many layers.
There was zombie on the track. Know who else started?
Joe knows his history. He knows his enemy.
The bottom zombie on the track. How come after that joint I don't see zombie on the track? I'm from Jersey, so zombie I got your back. Be alarmed, the real is finally back. Get your guard up now, hook your heart up now. Battery in him, let's see if he get charged up now. I'm waiting.
Damn, Joe. Damn, you forget how this one hit.
I'm waiting. We at the wake.
Who's Goose and who's Tom Cruise? Well, now that Shane is dead,
I'm waiting.
I guess we know who is Goose.
Shout out to Top Gun.
Shane is Goose. Because
But obviously, Goose died, right? And Kenny Powers is Tom Cruise.
that motion picture Goose
Back to Eastbound and Down.
dies, so Shane is dead, so he would be Goose.
That was a cold beat and piano. And see, I love how cold the beat is, but like Joe just has like the right moments to like really make those punchlines hit home when he gets more aggressive with that delivery and just the way that he pushes it in his tone, man. Let's bring it back. We got so much more to break down on this. I'm loving this.
I just noticed you run, we mentioned half the clips. I say that for another time, I get back to it. I'm kinda shocked to look at what we've advanced to. Knew it get you dismantled, knew the issues I ran through, sick of the scandal. Or maybe I just misunderstand you. I kept it a buck, thought that was shit you could handle. You said you wondered if anything.
All right, keep it 100. 0 to 100 real quick. I kept it a buck. And that show talking about on his podcast his review of Views. And he kept it a buck with his opinion. He didn't like Views, right? And for Joe, this all started because he critiqued one of Drake's albums, right? And then Drake's actions ever since is what eventually spiraled and what has led to this situation. So this is Joe giving us the history in the background. Like, I thought that you could handle the truth. I guess you just want yes men in your corner, not true friends and true people.
Understand you, I kept it a buck, thought that was shit you could handle. You said you wondered if anything you was doing was brand new, right? I got him, no one help.
If I'm doing this brand new, obviously Drake's track, brand new. He's quoting his lyrics and then he's flipping it back on him. Come on, Joe knows how to battle rap.
You said you wondered if anything you was doing was brand new, right? I got him, no one help.
Because this ties in later too. And you could see where the breadcrumbs are for Kendrick, right? And Drake and his code switching and his appropriation of styles of other artists. Is anything you doing actually authentic and brand new? Or are you just copying and biting from others? And he'll take this punchline and this speculation, this angle, and he'll build on it later on.
Or maybe I just misunderstand you. I kept it a buck, thought that was shit you could handle. You said you wondered if anything you was doing was brand new, right? I got him, no one help. Father punch below the belt. Introspection means dig deep. Let's look below the wealth. I wanna know myself. How you tell bitches know themselves when you don't even know yourself? You wouldn't know yourself. Say you can.
When you don't even know yourself. See, again, he's starting to build on this angle. Also flipping more of Drake tracks, know yourself on him. Drake lyrics talking about females, but in this case, you need to know yourself. How can you put out your own original sound and style when you don't really know who you are? That's why you're always code switching.
How you tell bitches know themselves when you don't even know yourself? You wouldn't know yourself. Say Canadian, maybe Asian, Croatian, be sounding like it's Jamaican friends, depend on what state he in.
Say he's Canadian. Maybe he sounded like he's Croatian, Asian, right? Jamaican friends. Because again, early critiques of Drake, this isn't new from Kendrick. You had Drake taking advantage of the dancehall movement, right? One Dance. Coming through with Controller, like Pop Can, man. And like Pop Can was on that track, one of his homies. Jamaican, shout out. But then that song leaked. And then all of a sudden when it goes on the album, he's not on that song. It's just Drake. And it's like, did Drake just use him and just use the Jamaican dancehall scene? And if you guys heard my song, Hip Hop Is Dead, you know like the tie-ins in the history, man. Jamaican dancehalls, that's where it really originated, right? Then Kool Herc took it over to the block parties in NYC. But there's a lot of roots and connections to that in homage. But where do we go paying homage and where do we go when the cultural vulture allegations come through? And where do we go with just using and abusing for numbers? Was Drake paying homage with his one dance and his controllers? Or was he just taking advantage of a movement and a style and code switching for us with like ding and just the way that he says stuff? And one thing I will say is I spent a couple years playing in Toronto, playing in the Six. There's a huge Caribbean culture, right? That's where I first learned bomba clot and all those words, man, right? Just ride on the bus, because most of my team was from the Caribbean. Most of my team just had that slang. So you could see how it came in and influenced Drake in his music. But what a lot of people took issue with was that it didn't really match his accent, the way that he talked, where he was from. So again, it's sort of it's a gray area to Drake. Some people accepted it, saying that's just the thing in Toronto. That's the way it is. That's the culture. He's just tapping into that, paying homage. Other people are like, no, it's not homage. It's appropriation, right? But you could see, again, Kendrick definitely heard this. He definitely went and studied Budden's disses and just knew his enemy through the years.
How you tell bitches know themselves when you don't even know yourself? You wouldn't know yourself. Say Canadian, maybe Asian, Croatian, be sounding like it's Jamaican friends, depend on what state he in. I think you rap good, but you a movie star, so that Al's appropriate. We don't know who you are.
Al goes, who you are, onomatopoeia for that, right? OVO and the Als. We all know that. And the bird bitches flipping that. And then before that, too.
Asian, Croatian, be sounding like it's Jamaican friends, depend on what state he in.
Depending on what state you're in. What state of the United States that you're in, you code switch for that, but also like what mental state that you're in. It's a clever little wordplay and flip that.
I think you rap good, but you a movie star, so that Al's appropriate. We don't know who you are.
I think you rap good, but really, let's go back to Wheelchair Jimmy. Let's talk about Degrassi.
When did the boy brain change? Was it the club scene? Now you.
When did the boy bring change? Was it the club scene? Because he's bringing change to the club to spend at the club versus like all of a sudden, when did your brain change up? When did you code switch up? Was it the club scene we got in that fight with Diddy? Because we all know what happened in that club when he threw his drink on you. He was mad about 0 to 100. And then all of that, was it too much clubbing? It's messed up your brain. It's gotten to your head. You see how Joe's flipping this? And then Joe also had some altercations and issues with Drake in the club too.
Sound like you use people and love things. But later for how you use people and love things. The entendres use people and love things.
Use people and love things. That's another Drake lyric, right? That he's flipping. Drake from, what was it, Connect, right? So Drake coming through and saying, I wish you wouldn't. You would do the opposite of loving people, using things, right? But instead, you do the opposite. You use people and love things. So what's Joe doing? He's taking literally his own lyrics, his own... So what's Joe doing? He's literally taking his own lyrics, his own medicine, and he's feeding it back to Drake.
But later for how you use people and love things, the entendres that upswing when I call you drunk king. That record contract leaves a lot to exam. Never dealt drugs in his life, but sold a lot of gram. That's too much baking soda. Good thing my break is over.
Even right there, I love that bar, right? A drug king. Because all of a sudden, you're talking about like you're pushing weight. And again, what happened to your brain? First, you tap into the club scene, then you switch out of that. Now you're talking like you're pushing things, like you're a drug lord, like you're Mr. Mafioso. Like, what style, what persona are you going to pick? But it makes sense because you're a movie star, because you're an actor, so you're used to doing things like this. And even the baking soda, right? You don't give it raw. You're not authentic. You're not like the raw cocaine. You're the cut up stuff that's got a ton of baking soda, right? So the effect is watered down, essentially. It doesn't hit the same. And even like the grams, measuring drugs in grams versus Aubrey Graham versus Drake loves to use social media and the power of Instagram. So many layers of these bars.
A lot of gram, that's too much baking soda. Good thing my break is over. They think it's cause my paper lower this for rage to blow up. But maybe they just woke up.
Because my paper lower this for rage. Again, Joe's addressing that. Like you think just because I'm dropping rage that's why I'm doing this? No. There's more to it than that. Listen.
Leverage your celeb taking waves over. That's territorial takeover. Maybe think.
Leverage your celeb. And here we go. And he's going to start laying out some of the celebs that Drake has tapped into. Because again, here's this history. Drake sees a trend. He sees someone doing something successful. He's like, all right, let me reach out to them. Let me remix it. I didn't create that original buzz, but I see a lane to capitalize off of it, drop a remix with them, link up with them, and then that way I can also capitalize on that trend, even though I'm not the originator, right? That's the bigger critique that's about to come through here.
Nobody notices Gucci wasn't home 2 seconds before you rode his dick.
Gucci was back like 10 days, and then they dropped back on the road, right? He got released from jail. What does Drake do? He's on the hook for Gucci.
Maybe you think nobody notices. condolences. Gucci wasn't home 2 seconds before you wrote his dick. Body Versace flows, copy that he stole. Adios, meal, sorry, amigos, adios, amigos.
Adios, amigos. It's like, again, Drake uses you, and once he's done using you, adios, see you later. And he plays off amigos because he got on Versace, adopted their flows, put his own spin on it. Then he took that, then he dropped the language. And again, like taking other people's styles, other people's trends and flows, using them to his advantage. And once he's done, he's grown his numbers, he moves on to the next thing. He moves on to the next group.
Copy that he stole. Adios, meal, sorry, amigos, adios, amigos. Was that your plot all along? Why you ain't do that vid with Fetty, but you hopped in a song? No, really.
Again, right? Fetty Wap was popping at the time. Drake reaches out to Fetty. Yo, let me hop on a remix. Never did the video, even though the fans wanted it. But he was happy to jump on the audio, jump on the remix, and jump on Fetty's trend when it was his time in the limelight, when it was his time to shine.
Was that your plot all along? Why you ain't do that vid with Fetty, but you hopped in a song? No, really. We want a party album, but you keep stealing all the party albums to go and put it on your party album.
Woo!
It's plenty.
You remember we talked about the Quentin Miller leaks and all the reference tracks? Well, there's also been leaks of Party Next Door reference tracks for Drake. And Party Next Door has been an accredited writer throughout Drake's career on Drake albums. If you're reading this, it's too late. And there's been reference tracks, and even tracks that Party has had leaked that is like, you could see that Drake is taken and Drake is used. And what's Budden's clever flip here? We can't get that Party Next Door album because you keep taking all his best songs and making them yours.
Stealing all the party albums to go and put it on your party album.
That's a clever wordplay flip again. The battle rap wordsmithing and word flipping is just so dope on this. To put it on your party album because you make songs to party with, right? Party Next Door, flipping the Party album into Drake's own Party album. So in a way, he's taking it, and Party doesn't even get to drop a party anthem, right?
But you keep stealing all the party albums to go and put it on your party album. There's plenty reason to slay you. Kept going up Tuesdays, now the weekend just hates you. Are you?
You kept going up Tuesdays. There it is. I Love McConan, right? Drake even reached out to I Love McConan and signed him. Signed him this time because that's another sort of move and a critique of Drake. That another way to capitalize on a trend, he'll reach out to that artist, he'll sign them, he'll get them to work for OVO, offer them like ghostwriting opportunities, like he'll work with them, and then once he uses them for his album and his own releases, they're gone, right? Tuesdays, Drake did a remix, signed I Love McConan. A couple years later, wash, done, see you later, repeat, on to the next one. But it's also a clever flip because Tuesday is not the weekend, right? If Drake keeps going up on Tuesdays, the weekend is going to be pissed. Because why aren't you partying on the weekend? Because that's what Drake makes, is party music. Versus, we all know The Weeknd and his tie-ins with Drake. One of Drake's greatest albums, Take Care, was penned a lot by The Weeknd, right? Drake, again, using The Weeknd. Now The Weeknd has fallen out with Drake. That comes into play in the Kendrick Lamar beef, too.
You kept going up Tuesdays, now the weekend just hates you. Are you like this? Sound like a zombie on a track.
Oh, no, I'm going to lose my, hang on, we're going to lose the power real quick. Sorry, extension lead in, power's back. Let's finish this.
Now the weekend just hates you. Are you like this? Sound like a zombie on a track. Remember started from the bottom, it was zombie on the track. Know who else started from the
I love this flip.
bottom, zombie on the track. How come after that joint I don't see zombie on the track? I'm from Jersey, so zombie, I got your back.
Again, a very battle rap type of sequence. Zombie on the track, but flipping the different ways that you could have that be mean, right? Started from the bottom. One of Drake's most famous and popular songs. Started from the bottom, now we here. Who produced that track? Mike Zombie, Zombie on the track, right? He even has the producer tag from Zombie on the track. You hear it as the ad-lib to this. But he sets this up with the sounding lifeless. Remember the Hard Part 6 when Drake dropped that? And one of the critiques was Drake doesn't sound like he's got that passion, that energy. He sounds lifeless. Well, look at this critique all those years ago to his delivery.
Zombie on the track. Know who else started from the bottom? Zombie on the track. How come after that?
You know who else started from the bottom? Because he flipped, started from the bottom. Drake song. Again, how many different just Drake discography and lyrical flips have we had that Budden is taking, flipping back on him? Man did his homework for this, right? The layers and depth to this. But also, like, you had someone who started from the bottom. If you started from the bottom, surely you want to help those who are struggling on the come up like you. And yet, as soon as you got him on your label, what'd you do? You used and abused him. like you do with everyone else.
It was Zombie on the track. Know who else started from the bottom? Zombie on the track. How come after that joint I don't see Zombie on the track? I'm from Jersey.
Where's the rest of the features with him, right? You got the trend, you got the sound that you wanted, and that's it.
So Zombie, I got your back.
I'm from Jersey. Zombie, I got your back. When you have someone's back, but also Joe Budden being from New Jersey, flipping into wearing a jersey. Where do you put someone's name? On the back of a jersey. So Zombie, I got you on the back. The jersey flip scheme is nice.
Be alarmed, the real is finally back. Get your guard up now. Hope your heart up now. Battery in him. Let's see if he gets charged up now. I'm waiting.
Battery in him. Let's see if he gets charged up now. Again, yet another Drake flip. Drake's Meek Mill diss, charged up. Versus Battery, put a battery in him like a battery charge, but also Budden's committing battery, assault and battery on the track, and he's going to catch a charge for it. Charged up flip, assault and battery. Come on. It's cold.
I'm weak. We at the wake.
Who's Goose and who's Tom Cruise?
But even that's a flip. I'm awake. Like, you've awoken the beast. I'm now awake. My eyes are open. I have that awareness now to you and how you really move. And then also the double flipping that into a funeral scheme, a funeral wake.
Well, now that Shane is dead,
I'm weak.
I guess we know who is Goose.
And this is Budden saying that Drake is Shane and Shane is dead.
Shane is Goose. Because in that motion picture, Goose dies, so Shane is dead, so he would be Goose.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Budden was on one for that one, right? That packed a lot of heat. That packed the punchlines. That packed the flips. That had the homework. That had the layers. That had the research into it. And also it goes deeper because, you know, they know each other. So Budden knows more about Drake than a lot of other people do. And just the delivery, man, the way that he comes through in that, like, it's just like he got his hands around his neck and just never let go. And he just throttled through that the entire way and just punched and punched and punched. But you can see, like, here's a blueprint, right? And here's critique of Drake that didn't go away. This is something that Kendrick felt like needed to come to light because it's still applied. So it's like Drake never took this on board from Budden. Never took it on board over the years. This whole code switching, this whole capitalizing on trends, changing his language, changing what he does, using people and move on. It just feels like even then, like the writing was on the wall and you could see it just building and building up, and why it turned into like a 20v1 later on, because he alienated himself through the years from a lot of people. And that's culminated in the Kendrick and Drake beef. Yeah, really interesting to dive back into that one. Anyways, Joe Budden, you were Knox Hill certified. Hope you guys liked today's video. Listen, if you're here at the end, obviously enjoy the content, do me a huge favor. Support the channel directly. Subscribe, notifications on. Really does go a long way. Also, don't forget to copy your merch, knoxhillmusic.com. We got hats, we got shirts, we got hoodies, we got everything that you need. If you want to rep the brand, if you want to support, it all goes a very long way. I'll put all links down there. All right, everybody, stay safe, stay positive. Take care of these. Take care of these. I love you. I'll catch you again.